Hello, everybody. Suzanne Kellner-Zinck from Done Business Hypnosis here to talk about how to reset when you're feeling down. We all have those times when things that we thought were going to come through didn't come through. I just had a situation where I thought I had a new client, and it was pretty frustrating, actually, to tell you the honest truth, because when we first initially met, I was getting up to the point where I was finding out all about his needs, how I could help him, put together a plan of action. And right when I was getting to the point and I was going to give him the price, close the deal, the electricity went out, not just in my apartment, but all up and down the street here in Albania. And that can happen from time to time here. So it's not always a great thing to see, but this timing was particularly poor. He was very sweet and scheduled another appointment a few days later, and I got on the video call with him again to find out that he was just interested to find out how much it would cost and had no money to spend on anything because he's cutting back. These things happen to those of us who are self-employed all too often, seriously. And it can be really frustrating, especially if you're in a situation where that money could really make the difference between making it that month or not. And given the economy of the world, this is a situation that a lot of people are in. It is a reality. People can sit there and lie all they want. But I know from speaking to a lot of people on Alignable, a networking platform, that this is where they're at, as this particular person demonstrated right there, because what he said was he wasn't sure he was going to have a job. So there you go. That's reality. So what do you do? Well, in my case, I focus on the things that I can do to make myself feel better. So the first thing that I did was I journaled. And I got it out of my system. And then the second thing I did was I did my weightlifting, something I absolutely do not like doing, but it really doesn't take that long to do. And it's a good way to get out the stress in the body, which we need to get out, based on all the research that I've been forced to do on this subject in my doctorate in psychology program. This is especially the last course I took. The third thing I did was I responded to someone who actually gave me a really positive reply to something that I wrote about her post, her initial post for our discussion post for our class. And that felt really good because we're totally aligned that just using the diagnostic statistical manual that is used to diagnose people with mental illness is not enough to figure out the root cause of many people's mental health problems. She's a nutritionist, learning about psychology, and she had spoken about a case history where a teacher told the parents of one of her clients that he needed to go on some sort of drug because he was angry. Her response was, let us get him tested to see if he's missing any nutrients. And they found out that he was very low in vitamin D. Simple supplement and some little ideas on emotional regulation shifted this kid from total anger to being much kinder and much more present without these outbursts any longer. So that felt really, really good. And then I decided that I needed to just get on with the work of the day. And I'm taking over a group on Alignable. So I sat my butt down to write down what I wanted to do to introduce myself to the group in our first Smart Connect. Smart Connect is where we actually meet two people generally in a room, sometimes three if there's an odd number of people at the event. And we just build rapport with one another and see if it's a relationship that we want to further and maybe collaborate with them or send clients or maybe even become a client of. So what I'm talking about here are several actions that we can take in order to help ourselves move ourselves out of a situation where we feel really down, maybe distressed, and into activity. The other thing that's really useful is just to meditate, or for me, it's better for self-hypnosis, because with self-hypnosis, I'm actually using my mind to figure out what I need to do. Sometimes it's letting go of people, sometimes it's letting go of situations, sometimes it's seeing myself doing the things that I want to do in the future and making them happen. So that's also really good. And it's very easy to go into a hypnotic state, especially first thing in the morning or right before you fall asleep at night, because you're already in the hypnotic state at those times. So you can just put yourself into a relaxed state, take a couple of deep breaths in, and then relax your eyelids. And as you relax your eyelids, you'll notice that when you go to open them, if they're really relaxed, you won't be able to open them, but your eyebrows will rise. And at that point, you can send yourself down a 10 staircase. I like to have my folks imagine they're a spiral in shape and floating in the sky, because it makes it more hypnotic, because there's a suspension of reality, which is what hypnosis does. It suspends reality in a lot of cases. When you're watching movies or reading really great fiction. And then at the bottom of the staircase, you can put yourself into a place of total relaxation, a place you visited or a place that you have in your imagination, and you can just relax. And from there, you can decide what you need to do in order to help yourself regain a sense of heightened emotion and activity. Journaling is also really good, because not only does it help you to get out the negative emotions that you're having, but I find it also gives me the ideas of what I need to do for the day. Sometimes new ideas come in, and sometimes it's just a matter of going through with the regular schedule that I have for my days. And my days are very scheduled, time blocked. And that's another thing that I think helps a lot, especially when you have deep work to do. You need to have your time blocked to allow enough time to do the thing that you have on your agenda. So my days usually start with my morning routine, which is, as I said, some self-hypnosis journaling. And then I get into putting my water on for my coffee. And at that same time, I do my weightlifting. Then after that, I have my coffee and maybe respond to a student's response or discussion post or whatever it is that I can do for schoolwork. And then I will generally get on and do my YouTube videos for the day. And then from there, I do deeper work for school or have breakfast, depending on what I feel like doing at that time. Go out for a walk, come back, and start doing the work with my clients who are back in the US. So they wake up around 8 a.m. Their time is 4 p.m. my time. So that's generally when my dawning visions work begins. And then I work through the afternoon and into the evening and do the smart connects into the evening and late evening. And then I go to bed, listen to some comedy if I can find someone who's doing some good stand-up comedy, and then go to sleep. And that's the way my day is structured. So having a structured day also really helps us to get the things done that we need to do. And if we find ourselves feeling kind of down, well, we know what's on our agenda, so we can just get to it. It makes life a lot easier that way. So I hope you found this to be useful. And as always, I thank you for spending your time with me. Till next time. Bye-bye.